Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Hentges with Beyond the Chart, and in this technical analysis of the stock market video, we're going to take a look at the Dow Industrial, see how it's doing. Look at one of my indicators, the short-term trading index, and the high-yield bond fund, the dollar index, Halliburton, Gilead, and Caterpillar. So stay tuned. All right, let's start off here with the Dow Industrials. Now, you can see literally, well, first of all, here's the entire move from the January-February low. I call the February low the intermediate wave 4 bottom in here. We're working 5 waves up, and we've had 1, 2, we're working a third minor wave. Now, the real question mark is, has the third minor wave completed here at this March 1st high? Now, initially, I thought it had. I thought that maybe we had a 1, 2, 3 sideways, little sideways 4 and 5 in here. But I'm starting to have my doubts. I'm starting to think that maybe this alternate count with minuet level, that's what I'm calling this next degree down. This is minute waves, minor wave, minute wave, and minuet level degree, okay? So I'm looking at this and thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, one more push possibly to challenge this old high or exceed it slightly to complete minor wave 3. When we complete minor wave 3, either we've done it or we're about to do it, we're going to have a fourth wave, corrective wave. Just like we had a corrective wave here, second wave, we're going to have a fourth wave that does a similar type thing. Now, who knows whether it's going to take as long as this did or longer. We just got to watch the wave count, see how it unfolds. But that's what's going on here with the Dow. You can see this last week, we really didn't do a whole heck of a lot. A lot of, little doji type candles in here. One day had a decent move to it and that was I guess Wednesday. But the previous Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, nothing but little doji candles in terms of the trading activity. Let's take a look at the short-term trading index. This is what we call the trend. And the 10-day moving average is the blue line that I keep in here. When it gets below 0.90, I consider it to be in an extremely bullish reading. Now, that happened 3 times here in the last 6 months. And, it really didn't lead to signifying a top, but it did lead to, like this last one here at 0.84 on December 13th, led to a complete big sideways move going on. Here's December 13th right here. So we got that extreme reading. Now, granted, we've gotten a couple others too. So yeah, sometimes it can be a little early, but what happened after that sequence? We just went sideways for about a month to month and a half. So kind of watching that to see whether or not we get anything. And again, you don't bet everything on one indicator. This is just one component, one thing I look at on a daily basis. And right now it looks like it's heading back down, although it was doing that back here in February too, and then stalled out. So we're watching the trend on the daily count. Let's take a look at the high yield bond fund. This got real negative pretty quick here in the last 6 or 7 days. And it gave back right now at the close. We're all the way back here into mid-December. So all of that 2-month rise just went out the window here in the last week and a half. And pretty negative move. Now, we've had some downdrafts before in here, and then they got, rally kicked in. So that is a possibility. It could happen in here. So we got to watch and see. Now, the moving average crossed the 10 below the 21. This is a 10 exponential below the 21 SMA. That's the first time that's crossed to the downside since back over here. Now, it's been to the upside since mid-November, okay? So we definitely have a change in trend occurring. Now, we got a couple of those false type moves back in here also, so there's no guarantee, but it definitely is one of those where the flag's waving. All right, we've got to kind of watch and see what happens. All right, so that's the high yield bond fund. Now, the dollar index is something else I watch on a daily basis, and it's been really interesting. I thought the dollar index peaked out here in January 3rd, 5 intermediate waves up, and then working our way down. And the alternate count is that this was only 3, 4, and that we had a fifth wave up. And you could make the case that, yes, maybe we were starting to work that fifth wave to the high side. This is my preferred count. I'm thinking that we completed 5. We're working our way down. And that would have kind of, that scenario, this blue scenario in blue, not the red, in the blue, would have gone out the window if we would have kept pushing above this high. I would have thrown this scenario out, gone to the red alternate count. But then all of a sudden, so here the last 5, 6 days, we never broke that high. And then all of a sudden, Friday, we got this big downdraft move. And it's like, why is this happening when we got the Federal Reserve possibly raising interest rates on Wednesday with their meeting coming up? So that's what's really causing, a question mark in terms of what's going on here with the dollar index. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, you can see, pretty big, it broke the trend line of this, little rally from the 1st of February back up in here. We closed back down below the 10. Pretty good downdraft that occurred. We'll watch and see what happens. Monday, Tuesday, maybe this still holds and maybe it still comes up and still breaks this high. But, this kind of put a really big question mark on the bullish scenario for continuing to move, but it also makes a question mark as to what does that mean for the Federal Reserve for this week. All right, so that's what's going on with the dollar index. Let's take a look at 3 stocks. Halliburton, of course, the energy stocks kind of getting killed. Oil collapsed, USO collapsed 10% this week, and oil dropped back down, below 50, and that's been in the news. Halliburton's been selling off. I got my insider members into puts here at the close on the 7th, and nice move down, hit our initial target. So we're out of half the position and then holding the other half, looking to see. We're trailing a stop. But this gap has got my attention. I'm watching to see, does it come down into the 48 area and close this gap? We have broken this trend line on Halliburton, and that's a trend line of, ever since the low back here in January, February last year. So that is going to be interesting to see what does it do after breaking that trend line and becoming fairly weak in here. All right, so that's Halliburton. We're continuing to play that one. Gilead Sciences, on the other hand, has got my attention to the bullish side. I'm watching to see, we got the 10 moving, 10 crossing above the 21 here, and it didn't, we still sold off a little bit after that, but on an hourly chart, it looks like it's trying to turn. And kind of watching, you could see that the bulls kind of came in the second half of the day on Thursday and Friday. And so watching to see whether this is going to turn. If we can get it closed back above the 10 and especially break this trend line here, we could get a pretty good pop in Gilead. It has a tendency to do that. These counter trends. Look at this move here. We actually played this move, had a great little reversal play in here. And this move here, so Gilead has got my attention right now. It is at the end of a pretty big downdraft. We had a big counter trend move. It had peak here in April of last year, and it's been in a downtrend ever since then. At some point, this thing's going to turn. All right, so that's another one that's on my radar. Caterpillar's been in the news a lot. And Cat had this bottom in January of last year, big, what looks to me like a 5-wave move. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up into here. Now, what is going on up in here is not totally clear to me. It looks like a possible expanding diagonal pattern. Cat's breaking down, rolling over in here. And of course, they had a lot of that news about the raiding of their offices in Peoria by the IRS and a couple other agencies, and it's all related to some tax-related issue, I think, with their parts department and parts accounting globally. But here's the issue on the chart, okay? It's back down to this trend line, which is basically the bullish trend for the entire last year, and we're right at it again, okay? So now the real question is this going to hold or not? It kind of looks like it's breaking down, but We'll have to watch and see. So this is another one that's on the radar screen because it looks like it could be getting ready to roll over. All right, that's it for the weekend. A lot of stuff going on. And of course, the market's starting to get a little bit more active. And we will watch and see. So if you thought the video was helpful, hit the like button. And if you can think of one person who would benefit from the video, share the video with them. And get my free ebook to help you stay in the game trading options. Just click on the image on the screen. And also, if you're not watching this on my website, head on over to my website. Check out the membership program over there. I'd love to have you become an insider member. Anyway, all right, everyone. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll see you on the next video.